good afternoon, and welcome, guys. We are halfway through the week already. Happy Hump Day. Hope everybody is having a great day so far. I have got a fantastic guest joining me today. But before I bring him on, let me say hello to everybody. And let me say, first of all, a massive thank you to Mexican Iron Man. Had a lot of fun getting to join in this morning on Mornings of Mischief. So thank you, puppy. That was a really cool show we got to do. So let's see who we've got. We've got Brandon, the anime guy. Good morning. We have got the Bash brothers. We've got Mark and Chris. Good morning, gentlemen. We've got the lovely Maria T and Telly. Hello, sweetheart. Good to see you. We've got Shane Nolan. Good morning, love. Welcome. Good to see you. Leah Rose. Hello, lovely. Good to see you as well. Let's see. We've got our favorite snow bear. We've got our favorite polar bear. It's Snorter Poopus. Hello, good to see you. Keely Chow, Roll Tide Keely. Dave G Sound, good morning to you. Pat S, good morning to you as well. Good to see you, Pat. We've got my co-host for this afternoon. We've got the Lady Arwen. Hello, sweetheart. Good to see you. Let's see. Let me scroll up, make sure I'm not missing anybody. I know I saw D-Bud Martin earlier. Good to see you as well. We've got Eldritch Lord. Good to see you. Good morning. Hope everybody is doing well today. I think that's everybody. Oh no, Baron Ormontag. Good to see you. And welcome to Rise and Shine. And Nearsighted Cyclops. Good morning to you too. Hello, guys. And before I bring 24/7 on, let me say a big thank you to Brandon, the anime guy, who sent us a super chat. He says, time to blow that shit up. Today is a good day till the internet dies. Oh, tell me about it. I'm still having issues with the camera. Fingers crossed it will let me at least turn it on for a little bit so I can show you a few goodies that I've got as well as what 24/7 has. But he says, hail and keep it kicking, old school. Rise and shine with Purple Valkyrie. I certainly will, honey. Thank you very much. So, guys, let me bring on my guest for this morning. You know him, you love him. He is the man with the greatest voice on YouTube. It's 24/7 Fusion Media.
Hey, thank you. That introduction is wow. Thank you. I appreciate it. That was something special. How y'all doing out there? Hopefully everybody's doing well. I'm excited to be here. I don't know why, but I've been a little nervous this morning, but I'm good. I have some things that I dug up and some stuff that I think you guys would be interested in seeing. Hopefully everybody out there is having a great morning. Hopefully Purple's doing well and everybody in the chat is, rising and shining. So, hey,
hell yes.
We're gonna have a great show this morning. So, thank everybody for being here. Appreciate y'all.
We are. Could you just turn your volume up just a little bit, honey? It's a little bit low. We can hear you, but it's just that tad low, and we want to be able to hear you in all your glory. But yeah, I've been having. I think everybody's having kind of issues at the moment. If it's not YouTube, it's StreamYards, or it's it's internet. There we go. Perfect.
All right. There we go.
That is perfect. How are you doing? You were saying you were feeling nervous. There's no need to be nervous. We've known each other for ages.
No, I know. It's just I haven't been on here in a while. It's been maybe a year or a little over.
Yeah, it's been too long. And we were talking back and forth the other day, and we were saying, we've got to get this show done before the year ends. And I'm really glad to have you join me today.
Thank you. I appreciate you, inviting me. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Before we get on to showing all the goodies, let me ask, as a collector, how did you become a collector? Is it something that you've always been? Is it something that you've always had an interest in?
Well, I mean, due to my brothers and older family members, they were the ones that basically showed me what was going on with comic books, the good stuff that was going on TV. And I've just stayed the path with everything that they showed me, how to collect, the do's and don'ts, how to not mess up your comic books. When it comes to a comic book, this is what you look for when you're buying one, whether it's from the comic book store itself, brand new, or you're buying it from somebody else. And then along the way, basically trial and error, figuring out everything else that they didn't tell me about that I would have to experience once you start buying your own comics and all this other stuff. So that's other than that, I think with comic books, I feel like I came up in a good era where comic books were still very relevant to a lot of us. You know, it wasn't all this mediocre stuff that, you know, we see nowadays. It was people that actually poured their hearts into their art, and and we saw some of the best stuff. And you know, a lot of that kind of came to an end about a good 6-7 years ago. But at that time, things were actually starting to turn, but it wasn't full force like what it is today. We still had some good stuff. And to be honest, when it comes to mainstream comic books, basically, by the time Ethan Van Sciver left DC, that was when you can actually see from that point on, sorry to say, everything kind of went to dog shit. So
yeah, you can kind of chart it after that point, can't you? But
right.
as you say, up until that point, we had the early 90s, we hit up into the mid 90s, and then we had the 80s that were really the heyday, especially for the the big two, the Marvel and the DC.
Shane CT asked,
yes, he says,
do you collect video games?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I do. I have quite a few of them sitting behind me, along with all this. A lot of people don't know that Aquaman had his own video game on Xbox quite a few years ago. Yeah. Yeah. So just, of course, I have my Aquaman collection, and this is the original Aquaman cartoon from from the 60s. So this is you can see him fighting Black Manta on the back of this. But this is So just to let you know, I'm running with old school stuff. The one and only Aquaman video game that ever come out. Yeah, so I do collect video games. I have a shitload of Star Wars games, Titanfall, the whole Mass Effect trilogy, along with Andromeda. But yeah, I mean, there's all kind of video games here. I love Red Dead Redemption.
Oh yes.
Yeah, the whole trilogy.
Rockstar. Yeah.
Matter of fact, there's so much stuff. I love to collect comic book video games, and even if they're bad, like the Catwoman video game, that's something that I don't recommend anybody to play because the mechanics are so difficult on there. But I own a copy on the Xbox down here, so it's like I do collect video games. And thank you for asking.
That's crazy, because back in the day when we had the superhero films, it was like a tie-in. Basically, they would do a game to go with whatever film that came out, whether it performed well or not at the box office, which I thought was really funny. Paras wants to know, do you like Bronze Age, Silver Age, Gold, or Modern Age comics the best?
Actually, between Gold, Silver, Bronze, they all have their importance in the building up of comic books to the point where even we know about them today. The comic book industry, give an example. This year's Wonder Woman's 80th anniversary. Last year was Green Lantern's and Aquaman's. And also like 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, Batman and Superman had hit their 80th anniversary.
Yep, so, I remember that. Yeah, they did.
It's so it's like every era has their importance in these characters' lives. The Golden Age started them off. The Silver Age basically more or less rebooted. Well, it's not a reboot because the older characters still survived. There was more of they had a reimagining that separated, like Barry Allen, the Flash, came from Jay Jarrett, the Flash. Hal Jordan came from Alan Scott. there were two Supermans. Like a lot of people think that the whole history of Superman is one individual. People don't know that when it comes to Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, their histories, for them coming from 80 years to now, people don't know that you're actually looking at two separate characters.
Mm-hmm.
That basically their whole line of comic books were written like if they were talking about one individual. There were two Bruce Waynes, there's two Clark Kents, and there were two Wonder Womans. There were two Diana Princes. So basically, when you're looking at the whole run of all these characters, you're not looking at one individual, you're looking at two. So basically, a lot of their history stopped when the Silver Age started. But what you saw from the Golden Age, they were their own individuals. And what you saw from the Silver Age with the Justice League and everything else, you were looking at new individuals. And that's why some of them kept the same costumes and some of them didn't. Like Hal Jordan and Alan Scott were one of the individuals that, they ended up being two separate people. And you could tell the distinction between the two. One's brown hair, one's blonde. Costumes were a little different. Powers were a little different. But yeah, that's how it was. So they're all equally important. But I would actually say, damn, it's I don't know. It's hard because the Golden Age started it, the Silver Age kept it going, and the Bronze Age was right around the time that I got familiar with comics. So,
so they're all kind of special to you,
right, exactly,
pretty much.
Exactly.
Shayna would also like to know: do you collect figures? It says I have a few mobile Gundam figures.
Oh, you okay? I didn't know you collect Gundams. That's cool. I have maybe about 4 or 5 of them. So I couldn't say that I'm a collector. I still have a few of my old toys from when I was a little kid. Transformers. Optimus Prime. A few of the other figures, but as far as figurines, I sure don't. Sure don't.
Yeah, and that seems to be kind of part of being a collector, doesn't it? A lot of the people nowadays, they don't just focus on, say, comic books,
right,
but it's also everything that goes with it. So it's figures, it's games, it's the media that go with them. Especially if you've got a favorite character like Superman or Batman, you try to collect everything about that character.
Yeah. I was the same way when I was a kid. It wasn't just the comic books. I had the toys. Fuck, man, if I can get bed sheets and other things and towels and yes, the underoos, people, if I can get some underoos, and I was good. So yeah, there was just a lot of things, and of course, when you love something, you want all of it. So if it was Halloween, I would try to dress like them for Halloween. Yeah, it was cool. So it's I mean, it's easier to do that now that that you're grown, but it's like I actually just go for the comic books and movies and video games and stuff like that. That's just kind of where I'm at now as I'm a teeny bit older. So
that's it. You tend to specialize as you get older, but do you think it's fair to say that as kind of comic book fans, there's no better time to be a collector because there's so much stuff? And I'm not talking about the modern rubbish that's come out, but stuff that you can go back and find.
Yeah, actually, there is no better time than the present. And you actually right now, to get into comic books, it's a lot cheaper to go and get comic books compared to what it was maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago or even a decade ago, because now that so many comic book companies, not comic book companies, but so many comic book stores have went out of business due to the coof. A lot of them have, like basically just think about if you've ever been to a comic book store and you've seen all the shit that's in it, the toys, the figurines, the Funko Pops, all the comic books, the back issues, the fucking the boxes and boxes of shit. Yeah. So you get to see all that, And when a person loses his business and can't afford to even pay his own rent, where do you think those comic books go?
Mm-hmm.
Now he can turn around and get a storage, but that's him still spending money that he could have paid for the rent to keep his business open. So if he couldn't even afford to pay his rent, he definitely can't afford to for storage. So what happens? All those comic books go home with them. So they're sitting there with one room of their house filled with almost everything that they had in their whole store. So what's a good way for them to declutter the house and, make some money from what they have and just get rid of that shit? Everything goes on sale.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go online and you can actually find a lot of stuff cheaper than what it's ever been. I noticed back when I was buying comic books between last summer and in the beginning of this year, when I was actually doing a lot of unboxings, when I first started going live, I was unboxing all these comic books. I was showing this, showing that. I was getting comic books that I would actually see on the comic book wall. And if you know anything about going into a comic book store and you look at the comic books that they have, not the ones they have monthly, we're talking just above all that, and you start seeing all their older comic books all over the walls, that's basically all the shit you can't afford. And that's, that's a lot of old Silver Age, Golden Age comics. And it's like as far as like the Silver Age goes, I was seeing a lot of Silver Age comics that I seen my whole life going into comic book stores, never could afford them. I was actually seeing them on sale for pennies on the dollar. Like comic books that I've seen go for $80 to $100 for one, I was getting it for like $1 or $2 in mint condition.
That's crazy.
I've never seen nothing like that, but it took for a lot of people to lose their business for these comic book shops to just say, hey, look, just, please, buy something from me. And they just, drastically would chop the price down so much, or they would put it like on an auction. And people weren't like now you got people going crazy in these auctions. But back when I was buying all these comic books and doing all these unboxings, people weren't really hip to it just yet. And I was fucking around getting old Green Lanterns for cheap.
You got in there first. Holy crap.
Yeah, so like I have so many comic books. I have things that I can show you that you wouldn't even believe that I gotten for like little or nothing.
Deeper Martin says I used to own 5 comic book stores, closed 3 of them before I had to leave them. I think it's heartbreaking. I mean, we used to have a lot of comic book stores, and it was those kind of mom and pop run ones. They were run by just people, and they were their own businesses. And it's so sad to see so many of them close down because of what's happened.
Right. Yeah, it's unfortunate, and yeah, it's yeah, it's I hate to see that when the comic book closes down, when comic book store closes down, that's what that is when the comic book store shuts down, it hurts the newer generation for the simple fact that they're the ones that miss out on what's golden when it comes to like pop culture, comic books and stuff like that. Because if the shop's not there to, for them to walk in and see what's good, what's not, and everything else, then that's just like it's a generation lost. Because the only way that a kid nowadays would even consider reading a comic book is someone like us would have to actually show it to them, or they would have to love the Marvel and DC movies so much that they want to know more. Then they'll start asking questions and they realize, hey, this all comes from the comic books. Let me check those out.
Yeah, but I find that at least with the Marvel films, there hasn't been that much of, an interest in the comics. People haven't gone back to pick up the characters. They like the films, but, the kind of normie fans will not go back and read the comic books.
Right.
That seems to be the case, especially when they're like, $6 a comic now.
Oh, yeah, that's yeah. Matter of fact, it's crazy. Yesterday, I was seeing how They killed Doctor Strange. Yeah, they killed Doctor Strange and replaced him with a woman. That
Of
so
course.
there's a new female Doctor Strange, and my whole thing is, why would Marvel do that if he's in the Spider-Man No Way Home? He has a very important part in there, and they're still gonna come out with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So if you're gonna do all that, why? And they do it so much where if you sit there and you have a movie coming out in DC and Marvel, they have this so bad. They have a movie of a character that's coming out, and it's like they will sit there. The comic book versions of them would be somebody completely different. So if you love Thor, you never watch a Thor movie, you go to buy a Thor comic, and then you see Jane Foster.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it's like, now
what's this exactly? Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, at this point, it's like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and we're doing a Doctor Strange movie. He's gonna be in Spider-Man's gonna be the biggest movie of the year. Spider-Man, when that thing comes out next week, it's gonna be the biggest fucking movie of the year. Because of everything that's involved in it. You have Tobey Maguire, you got Andrew Garfield, you have all the old villains from all three movies. You have all this shit. I heard Venom's gonna pop up at the end, all this stuff. This thing's gonna be huge. It's gonna blow out every movie that came out this year.
Yeah, this could be the first film to do $1 billion at the box office. Yeah.
Boy, this movie's gonna be big. But then if you like Doctor Strange and his part in this, and okay, well, from this, he's going to go into his own multiverse of madness. And then you go to look for Doctor Strange, you're going to find Mrs. Strange. So
they were already kind of setting that up with WandaVision, weren't they? Where they're kind of planting the idea that she's going to surpass him to be.
They made her more powerful than from Doctor Strange, from what I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But just going back to characters like Jane Foster, and people are talking about her in the chat. She was never a popular character. They keep pushing these characters, especially within the films.
Yeah, I know. It's.
I think you're frozen 24. There you go. That's
better. Yeah. I'm sorry. I kind of missed out on what. Can you tell me what you said before I phased out?
Oh, yeah. They're talking about Jane Foster in the chat, and I was saying she was never a popular character in the comics to begin with. It was nothing that people really got behind, but they are still pushing these characters in the MCU.
Right. Yeah, that's there's going to be a whole lot of that going on. It's like the MCU that we've grown to enjoy for the better part of the last decade. That shit's over with. And yeah, it's going to be a completely different thing. So who knows? Maybe by the time Doctor Strange 3 comes out, if he survives number 2, it might be him actually giving up his character deal to a woman, and you'll be. Now the comic book's called Strange.
I
don't know.
It's pandering. That's what it is. And Chris Porsche says, I don't understand why, how they can have Jane Foster and Valkyrie when in the upcoming Thor, yet in the comics, Jane Foster is now Valkyrie, who's still more powerful than Thor.
Right. It's funny because now Valkyrie, if I'm not mistaken, has just now joined the Avengers. So Jane Foster Valkyrie. I don't know. It's disappointing to see what it is, and actually, it gets harder for people to give a damn about the comic books when a lot of people go off of, well, the cartoon version of this says this and that, or the movie version of this went like this, that, and the other, and then when they try to check it all out for the comic books have nothing to do with anything. So I don't know. It's just like a long time ago. When I was coming up, the movies and the comic books they went in sync with one another more or less. And nowadays they just don't care about that, regardless if it's Marvel or if it's DC. They do not care about any of those things.
Yes, I remember back when the first X-Men films came out, they were kind of on par then. But as you say, once we got the MCU, that's when we got this huge kind of deviation with the characters.
Right. Well, what I came to understand is when it comes to the movie versions of the DC characters and the Marvel characters, we're not looking at the original continuity of these characters. Like give you an example. For DC Comics, everything that you've seen from the Man of Steel, Superman, the Justice League, Suicide Squad, Shazam, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and everything else, we've all been looking at the new 52 versions of these characters. We have not been looking at, like, it's funny because the new 52 failed.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And they brought back all these characters. Superman got his red trunks back. They bought, they brought all these characters and their ways and their characteristics back into the fold because the new 52 failed. But what happened was Jeff Johns, who created the new 52 at that time, he got a position at DC. He was the basically the president of DC Films.
Mm-hmm.
So what he did was, since the new 52 was just starting up, it hasn't failed yet, and people were being somewhat receptive to the Superman without the red trunks and Warrior Wonder Woman, Xena Warrior Wonder Woman and all this other shit. He greenlit all his own characters to basically us having the movie versions of them.
Yes, yeah. So that's the ones that people would be familiar with, yeah.
Right now in movies, Henry Cavill Superman. The funny thing is Henry Cavill Superman in comics, he's been dead for a couple years. Like he's gone. So basically, everybody's excited to see Henry Cavill Superman, but in comic books, his version of Superman has died.
Yeah,
Like
he's
literally,
long gone.
like he was killed in the comic books. And to let you know, there were two, and this is kind of confusing to a lot of people, but there were two Supermans during the New 52. The original Clark Kent with the red trunks, he got tossed into a whole nother universe, while the Henry Cavill Superman from the New 52 was running around on Earth. He found his way to come back to our reality, and he was like, oh shit, there's already a Superman here. And he was looking at the Henry Cavill New 52 Superman without the red trunks. So it was like, damn, and then that's what came with the whole DC rebirth and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And that was at that point, that was when they killed off Henry Cavill Superman. So actually, everybody that's enjoying Henry Cavill Superman, you're enjoying a Superman that's got killed off in the comic books years ago.
But they don't make that apparent. And like I was saying, a lot of people who are just familiar with the films, because they don't go back to kind of research the characters, they don't know the history of them. And just to say a big thank you and good morning to Mexican Iron Man, he sent us a $10 super chat. Thank you. He says, you two are doing great. This is wonderful to see you too. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, appreciate you. Love you, Mike. Thank you, man.
Absolutely. You said you had some stuff to show us. What have you? What goodies have you got?
Some stuff. It's all kind of things.
And thank you, Paddy said this is some deep track stuff. Love it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is I'm a huge. I've had some comic books from back when I was early teenager that I had to like dig in my long boxes to pull out, starting to go through them. And I found some of my comic books and I've been showing them off in the last few weeks, but I came across another one that I've never shown anybody, and I figured, well, I'll wait to show it off here. Now, this I can't remember, but if I'm not mistaken, this is either 1945 or 1948.
Whoa! Where did you find this?
Yeah, this is coming from Fawcett Comics, that creates Captain Marvel, Shazam, Billy Batson. This is something that a lot of people have never seen. So for the first time, probably all of y'all, this would be the first time any of y'all have ever seen this. And this is America's Greatest Comics, issue number 7.
Oh, that is awesome. I'm just gonna put you in solo for a minute just so people can get a better look at it. That is incredible.
Yeah, this is issue number 7. And for it to be as old as it is, this thing is fucking as perfect as it's going to be, knowing that back then they, the whole concept of having bags and backboards is something that came out within like the late 70s, early 80s. So for comic books that come from the 1940s to be in this great of condition, it's rare, because people didn't know how to fucking collect comic books. They would fold them up, roll them up like, and stick them in their back pockets. They would sit there and hang them off of their bicycles as they rode around the neighborhood. They would do a whole bunch of wild shit. So to keep a comic book in great condition, that's not what they were doing. But if you look, this thing is not beat up. You can look at it and see, like, this thing is
clean. That's incredible.
And this is 100 pages. So basically you have all the Fawcett characters, like I think it's Ibis, the Invincible, and a lot of their other characters are on here. And this is 100-page comic. And
that was rare back in the day as well, wasn't it, to have something, 100-page print?
Right. And it's funny you say that, because I was like, well, this is from 2011. 100-page special of Shazam, autographed by Jerry Ordway.
Nice.
And Jerry Ordway was a part of a lot of great comic books, and he had a nice run with the Power of Shazam comic book. And I mean, for a lot of people who don't understand the difference between like a modern age comic and a golden age comic, now this has to be, you see how much bigger, like this is from corner to corner. Yes. A golden age comic is a lot bigger than Silver Age, Bronze Age, and any modern comic. So when you look at them, like it's so much bigger than just a regular comic.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Exactly. Even with the backboard, it's much bigger.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's even with the backboard. Exactly. Yeah. So
Mark says, is that pulp or is that colored pages?
Nah, this is pulp. This is black and white. Matter of fact, this is it's funny because every time I try to I open up these comics, some people would be like, "Oh my God, I'd be scared to open this up," and don't but then
touch it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I've been collecting comics for so long that I kind of consider myself a professional. So
he knows what he's doing, folks. It's okay.
Right, there you go. So yeah, let's
Chris says read back that in new Mylar and the Shazam will pop.
Yeah, this is, let me see. This is 1943. Holy shit. It's a lot older than what I thought.
Holy
so crap. Here you guys go.
This
is all black and white. So this is
I can't believe how crisp the pages are. They haven't been bent or anything.
Yeah, and actually they're all white. So it's like, the fact that let's say if this was sitting in somebody's garage, they didn't let the humidity and everything turn it yellow.
Yes, yeah. It hasn't just been left in a box somewhere.
Right, because you could see old comic books, let's say from the Silver Age or from the Bronze Age, that if it was sitting in somebody's garage, the pages would start yellowing up. And this is complete. This is white. And this has Commando Yank, Mr. Scarlet, Balbo, the Boy Magician, Minuteman, Bullet Man, and Captain Marvel. So all these characters is what makes this the 100-page special. So let me see right here. Let's see if I can find a good actual picture of Captain Marvel here.
Mark says his oldest comic is from 1963. It's an Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah, so you get to see, this is all black and white. So
that is awesome.
Yeah. So, and then even when you look at the little advertisement in the back,
I wonder if people ever sent off for that sort of advertisements.
actually, a lot of people did used to send off.
Did they?
And see, because now, like, you have to be very careful when you buy Silver Age and Golden Age comics, for the simple fact that they would tell you, hey, there's a coupon that was cut out. That's when people would actually cut this little, the little squares out and send them in with, a couple of with a couple of dollars or whatever. And actually they'll turn around and try to sell the comic book. So you have to be careful that you're not buying somebody's comic that, 40, 50 years ago, they had cut the little square out the back.
Glasses, yeah.
Right. So.
And Doji-san said, yes, we did.
Yeah, this is
it's stuff. Yeah, that was eBay back in the day.
There you go. It sure was. It sure was. You're right about that. So yeah, it says it's beautiful. It's old as shit, but
no, is that something that you'd have graded, or is it something that you would have
I mean, you can definitely get these graded. I'm not sure how well the grade would be, but I know to get things graded with like the CGC, I heard they normally cost about $25 to do it in American money.
Not too bad, I guess. Yeah, that's not too bad.
But then the moment you do that, you can't never read it again because it's locked in that plastic case. So I have a few CGC graded comics, but it's one of those things that if you're gonna do that, you might as well have like an extra issue of the same comic. That way you can have one to read and you can have one to admire. Mine's a 9.6.
That's it. That's exactly what you need to do. Do that with figures as well. If you're going to take one out of the box so you can display it and then have one kept in the box.
To read,
absolutely, right. Yeah. That's crazy. Aldrich Bushell said that's how my friend got into HPLH. It's sent in his $20 and got a certificate. Nice.
HEPLS. What is that? I never heard of that.
Oh, it's to do with Lovecraft. Okay, thank you. So it must be the HP Lovecraft Society.
Oh, I was like, what?
Nice.
I was like, is that a new comic book grading system? I don't know about. But okay, I got you. But thank you for letting me know.
Panic. Then it's like, what?
Yeah, I was like, shit, that one, like something just, it's something I don't know about. I was like, what did I miss? But I appreciate y'all explaining that. Thank y'all.
That's awesome. Do you prefer to buy your comics? Do you prefer to buy them in person if you can get back issues when you go into a store, or are you happy to buy online because you know exactly what you're looking for?
Well, to be honest, I noticed, not to dig on any comic book stores, but the comic book stores don't have sales. Comic book stores do not have sales. So, for instance, like I said, I can go online, see 20 of, I can get 20 issues of a certain comic book and walk away with $10. You can't do that at a comic book store. At a comic book store, and all due respect to the comic book stores, I'm not trying to talk shit or nothing, but when they make their money, they're making their money dollar for dollar. Like they really want their fucking money. So when you go into a comic book store, and I have seen, and me and Loki went to a comic book store last week.
Yes, I saw that. That looked like a really cool place.
Oh yeah, it was. The people in there were great. The food was great. The comic books were awesome. And what they did was they did sell comic books package. Let's say if you wanted a whole collection of the Reign of Superman.
Yeah, so they sold in bundles.
Yeah, they would sell it in a bundle. Right. So that might be the only way you get a deal, but that's not something that I've seen comic book stores do for a long time. And I've seen comic book stores actually sell stuff, but if it's not a part of a storyline or something like that, they just won't sell you, hey, this is 5 random Green Lantern comics.
Mm-hmm.
Give me $4 for these 5 comics. They don't do that. Like they want their money. Of course, they need to pay bills. They have a lot of expenses that a person that's selling comic books online doesn't have those kind of expenses.
Yes, yeah, there's a big overhead, I would imagine. But like you say, those kind of bundles, that's kind of ideal for someone who doesn't really know much about comics but would like to start collecting. That's like a really good jumping in point for them.
Yeah, that's when it comes to collecting comics, one thing I don't really say this much, but because never, it's no one's ever really asked me, but the thing that I found, like when it came to me collecting comics, it was about what could I, it was what I was able to identify with, and not identify with, oh well, I could identify with Blade because he's black. That's not that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about identify with the character through their characteristics.
Oh yeah, I mean, my favorite character is Batman. I don't need to see myself in Batman to enjoy the character.
Right. And it's exactly, and it doesn't, to identify yourself with a comic book character, it's not about gender. It's more about the personal connection. How does this, when you read this character, or when you, like, I'll give you an example. Eric July, Young Ripper, Hail the Young Ripper. He actually says that as when he was growing up, his favorite character was the Flash. And the reason why he liked the Flash is because he was fast. And the thing with that is, Young Ripper said that he was in track and field. He used to run. He was actually the fastest dude around. He was able to, he was faster than anybody he knew. So that connection to him being fast and him reading about a person that's fast, and with Young Ripper saying, hey, I was the fastest guy around, looking at the fastest superhero around, he was able to make a connection with the character. And it had nothing to do with Barry Allen being white, or it had nothing to do with none of that other shit. It was just the fact that it was something about either their powers or their personality, as a character, people can gravitate to. And that's like when I was growing up, I loved Robin because he was a 11, 12, 13-year-old kid that was, of course he was an acrobatic, but he was sitting there fighting grown men that was trying to kill Batman. And he's helping Batman fight them every fucking, if it was a cartoon, every episode, if it was a comic book, every issue.
He was there by his side, exactly.
Right. And it was like, he was a kid my age helping, one of the greatest superheroes in comic book history whoop ass. And I was like, yo, I can identify that as a little kid. And it wasn't, of course, Dick Grayson was, he was rich because he had Bruce Wayne's money. And he was an acrobat and I couldn't flip worth the shit. But it wasn't even about that. It was, it was about the connection. So in that way.
I'm going to see if I can turn this camera on, because I've got a couple of comics as well that I'd like to show. So fingers crossed this actually works, guys. Let me know in the chat if it's blurry or if it's just really bad, but let's see. So, hey guys.
There you go.
There we go. So the one I was going to show up, because it is Christmas time, it is the X-Men Christmas special, but this is the one where Dr. Doom takes over the role as Santa, which is just a really dumb story, but I absolutely love this kind of one-shot. It's the Xmas special. It's really silly, but I still love it. I think it's a great comic. Another one that I picked out of the bunch was this. So this actually came from Universal Islands of Adventure when they first opened. It's still in the plastic. It's never been opened. And it's still got the little badge as well that came with it.
Superhero Island. What is that? If you don't mind me asking.
That basically, when the Universal Studios Islands of Adventure in Orlando opened, this was one of the promotional pieces that they had. So it's all to do with. So it's Dr. Doom. It's Captain America. I think there's like 4 comic books in here.
Oh,
inside.
wow. Okay. I've
So
never seen that. I never heard of that. That's awesome.
that was pretty cool. It was just a random pickup that I found on eBay, and I just thought, wow, that's pretty darn cool. I've
Oh,
never
that's
seen
awesome.
that.
Yeah, that looks nice.
I've got a stack of the Batman animated comics, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, I'm shit, man. If you can get your hands on what's that, issue number 7 or 8, the first appearance of Harley Quinn in comics,
Yes.
that's just worth a lot of fucking money, man. Shit.
Yeah, I haven't got that one, but I've got some of the Gotham Adventures that has got kind of Harley and Ivy.
Right, there you go. There you go.
That's
all right, there you go.
But yeah, it's like you see, you just kind of come across these ones, and it's so cool to see them sometimes. But I'm not a bigger collector as you, but I just kind of gravitate towards what I like.
Right.
And TC Canadian says, you're a little bit blurry, but stay on purple. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Man,
I see what you mean.
Actually, let me see. All you comic book collectors out there, you guys ever seen this?
Oh, that is cool. I love that.
This is from 1978. This is actually, now compared to, this is your oversized comic. So let's say compared to a regular comic book.
Oh my God, look at the size of that thing.
Yeah, that's how big this is. So this is has a wraparound cover. So
oh, that is cool. I love that.
All right, there you go. Yeah, so this has an actual back cover to it, where she's like, Wonder Woman is like, she's fucking rushing Superman.
Oh, that's so cool. I love the wraparound covers. I actually prefer those to the variant covers that we get nowadays, because you get so many variants come out. It just doesn't seem to mean anything anymore.
Yeah, actually.
And good morning to Vigilante Williamson. Hello.
Yo, what's up, Vigilante? What's good, man? Great to have you here, brother.
Good to see you.
Then there's this one. This is an actual from also 1978.
Superman and Shazam. Nice.
That's why you see Supergirl at the bottom and Mary Marvel at the top. Yeah, this is it's pretty awesome. And then so when you see that, then you have the wraparound cover, and there you go.
That is cool. I love that.
Yeah, this is from Dick DiGiorno, if I'm not mistaken. That's how you say his last name. I could be wrong. Sorry, Dick. Don't mean to be fucking up your last name, but and I think this is Bruce Buckler. So yeah, this is this is actually pretty awesome. This is actually, if I'm not mistaken, this is the second appearance of Black Adam in modern day comics. So basically, when Black Adam first appeared, it was in Shazam issue number 28, which was his second appearance. So this would be his third right here. And then I have a huge Black Adam collection. So, but this is actually a very very nice comic. And then
that I recognize. Yep,
it's from Alex Ross.
I didn't realize you were such a huge fan of Shazam. I had no idea.
Yeah, I have a lot of Shazam. I have some more Golden Age Captain Marvel comics. So yeah, this is huge. This is beautiful. Like Alex Ross. Wow, with his art and his painting, he's it's fucking beautiful, man.
He really kind of captures the heroic side of them when he paints them. I love that. either with Superman or whether it's Batman or whether it's Wonder Woman, he brings out those qualities in his work. I love that. I follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I follow him and quite a few other comic book artists. Like I follow Ethan Van Sciver. He follows me back, so that's pretty awesome. Yeah, Ethan is a great guy, man.
And Vigilante Williams says the real Captain Marvel. Exactly.
Unlike what we're getting in the new movie that's coming out pretty soon, right?
I'm taking it you're not looking forward to that film.
The first one was bad, very bad. And the thing that doesn't make any sense is, how can you give that much power to a kid without any guidance? And one of the powers of Captain Marvel, when he says Shazam, is he has the wisdom of Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
And in the new 52 version that we're looking at of Captain Marvel, Shazam, he's not guided by the wisdom of Solomon. So basically he has all the power of Superman almost, but with the mind of a child, which means, it's like watching the movie Big with Tom Hanks, but with superpowers. And I don't, it doesn't work for me, especially when you know that the character is not supposed to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
So that bothers me quite a bit.
I liked the guy that played him. I like Zachary Levi. I think he's a nice guy, but they seem to really miss the mark when it came to capturing the character.
Yeah, I know it's very disappointing to see that. And then he matter of fact, a couple of days ago he was like, "Oh, Captain Marvel 2 is going to be more serious." Like, what does that mean? Because it was like a comedy to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it was very light-hearted. I was surprised. I thought it was going to be a little bit more serious, but
me too.
It was very, very jokey.
Right.
How do you feel about The Rock going to be Black Adam?
Well, this is the thing. Like, The Rock, he's been attached. For people that don't know, The Rock has been trying to get Black Adam off the ground for 13 years.
Whoa.
So he's been attached to this since either 2008, 2009. He's been attached to this project. So for all the different scripts that they had, different directors, producers, and everything else, the only thing that stayed constant was The Rock keeping his role as Black Adam. Was the only thing that actually stayed the same. Everything else surrounding that project changed. Now, the only thing I don't agree with, because we're looking at the new 52 version of Black Adam. Like, if you know Black Adam and you look at The Rock in this movie, why does he have a hoodie? The same way Zachary Levi's Shazam has a hoodie, and the same way that the guy that Shazam gets his powers from, the wizard, he has a hoodie too. So I'm like, what the fuck why does everybody have a hoodie now? So that's fucking ridiculous. And then the fact that you're putting Black Adam in a cape, he's only worn a cape for the last 10 years. He's worn a cape, but Black Adam was created back in the 40s and he's never had a cape all the way till about 10 years ago. So it's like, I don't know. And the fact that we're watching The Rock's version of Black Adam, like, Black Adam has hair on his head.
This will be his version, isn't it? This is his.
It's like, I want, if you're gonna give me Black Adam, put some hair on your head. Like, Black Adam is not a bald-headed guy. The Rock is a bald-headed guy. So this is some issues that I have with it. And if he's supposed to be so in tune with the character, then why are you giving us your version of him instead of giving us the actual version of the comic book that you're supposed to be so in tune with? That's my. So even, so my thing is, if you can't even get the looks right, what else in the movie is wrong?
Well, that goes back to what we were talking about before. Big stars like The Rock will sell a film. It'll, get people talking about it. But if you have a character that looks exactly like as they should in the comic books, people aren't going to connect with that, unfortunately, and that's where the comic book industry themselves has fallen down.
Right. Yeah, that's yeah. So, and I mean, even with Marvel, like all the characters that we're seeing, this is not the original Marvel universe of characters that we're looking at. If I'm not mistaken, we're looking at the all new, all different Marvel. Like that version of Marvel is what we're getting in the movies. So of course, like fucking Captain America has a helmet on when he runs around. I mean, there's just so much shit. It's like Hawkeye doesn't have his original costume. Scarlet Witch doesn't have her costume.
The and only these person are iconic characters as well, aren't they?
Right. And I mean, the only people that was close to being comic book accurate was Black Panther a little bit, Doctor Strange somewhat, Spider-Man somewhat. And even then, it's like they never pull the exact look from the comic books and just make it come to life on screen. And that's the one thing, as a fan of comic books, the only thing that's greater than reading a comic book is seeing your favorite comic book character come to life. And
the best example of that is, I'm thinking with Fantastic Four, we had that terrible Roger Corman film that was never meant to be released.
Oh yeah.
But at least they did their absolute best to try and emulate the characters and the costumes.
That's true, and I watched that, and I think if I'm not mistaken, I've seen that on YouTube.
It is on YouTube, I believe. Yeah.
And yeah, it's not as exciting as any other Fantastic Four movie, but it's story accurate, it's comic book accurate with the costumes, and even the way they talk is supposed to be the way they talk. But it's just the fact that it was a boring movie that a lot of people kind of shit all over it. So that's
yes, and it's still not as bad as Fantastic, so it's incredible.
Right.
And hello, Lord Dolph, good to see you.
Lord Dolph was good, man. What did I miss? You missed some stuff. You missed you missed this 1943 America's Greatest Comics.
That is
issue
gorgeous.
Number 7. Yeah. So 100 pages. Yeah,
before we wrap up, I've got to ask, as a collector, is there a grail piece that you haven't got that you've been searching for? Is there this one thing that you would love to have in your collection that you haven't found yet?
Actually, there's quite a few, but I would love to get my hands on the Marvel Family issue number 1, which is the first appearance of Black Adam. That one's a toughie. I was close to getting it at one time, but the money was far beyond what I was able to afford. It was on sale. It was actually a great copy for how old it was. And it ran into the hundreds it ran up there. And it was like, you can't, I don't know. I'm not a rich guy. So it was like, once it kind of flew out of my price range, it was like, what can you do? But yeah, Marvel Family number 1 would be a good one. And anything else? I mean, Aquaman number 1 would be good.
Would be cool.
That
would be great.
From the 1960s. Yeah, that would be good. Justice League number 1 from the 60s, or Green Lantern, or Flash.
So I love that you've brought these ones up, because a lot of people would go back to the first appearance of either Spider-Man or Superman, or
right.
But I love that you went straight to the Marvel Family.
Yeah, there's a lot of the Astonishing Tales featuring Captain America and Iron Man. There's a lot of comic books out there that would be great to have. Fantastic Four number 1 would be another one. Spider-Man number 1, of course.
Yes.
It's crazy. I'm starting to see just kind of, every now and then I kind of go through eBay, or I'm starting to see like Spider-Man issues like in the 20s and the 30s of Amazing Spider-Man going for $15, $20. I'm like, damn.
You can get some real deals if you know what you're looking for, and it's a case of not kind of typing in the thing that you're looking for, but look for, say, old comics, and then look through to see what people are selling. You can find some real gems. It's incredible.
Oh yeah, there's it's amazing what you find. I know I'm a part of a comic book club kind of deal with it's getting close to almost 300 different vendors that's a part of this particular club, and just to see everything that everybody is dishing out, stuff that for sale, things that you would normally would find for hundreds of dollars, you're finding it for pennies on the dollar. It's interesting. You just the big thing is, if there's something out there that you want, you have to look for it, and don't settle for the first one that you see. Look up 20 or 30 of that same comic book. See who has, like, some people will sell you something for $100, but it'll be in the worst shape. Then you'll see somebody selling the exact same thing for $35, but it'll be in the greatest shape ever. And if you don't look around to see what's what, then you'll just be stuck with the first thing that you see. And then all of a sudden, after you buy it, you'll see another one that's half the price and better and 100% better condition.
And you can't get rid of yourself, it.
Yeah. Right. And you'll be kicking yourself because you went, you were so, you were so happy to jump on the first one you saw, that if you would have done your homework a little bit more, you would have came out with something of better quality and of course, paying a better price.
Project Storytime says the one that he's looking for is Star Trek Good Key #1, first ever Star Trek comic. I will never stop looking.
It's funny that you say that.
Oh no, you're going to put it out of a box, aren't you? Hold on, let me solo you. There we go. Wow, nice.
This is the original Star Trek series of comic books ever put out. And this is actually this yellow one. The first one is issue #2. So he's looking for issue #1. And yeah, these are beautiful. Like, these are all hand painted covers.
Yeah, and, I love those covers.
Yeah, these are great. I mean, I have like a whole box of these. So if you'd have said, "Hey, Star Trek," I had you right here. I was gonna. So you can tell it was sitting right here in front of me waiting.
Got you covered.
Yeah, I had you covered. So
we've also got a request from Mark. He says 24's got to say his lines. Still waiting on it.
Oh, blow that shit up.
There we go.
There you go.
And a big thank you and good morning to MB Geek.
Hello,
up, Jesse. Good to see you, he says. Wow, what a treat to have sexy, strong Brit Ginger and a strong American man on the same team. SJWs must be fuming.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, Jess. Appreciate you having you here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Man. And Jesse's another one that's very knowledgeable when it comes to comic books.
Matter of fact, I'm going to show you one more. This is, I don't know if anybody ever seen this. Some of y'all probably have, but this is DC Comics before it became DC Comics.
I've never seen that before.
This is DC Comics before they actually turned the name over to DC. They were called National Comics. And this is an original National Comics comic, issue number 47. And that's why it looks a little different, but it was back then 10 cents.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, yeah, and this has DC's version of Quicksilver. And this is Quicksilver from DC before Marvel ever had a Quicksilver back in the 60s. So this is in the 40s.
That is awesome.
And if anybody's from
find?
Yeah, this is a lot of people have never seen this, and
I've never seen that.
Yeah, there's some good shit. Actually, Max Mercury back in the 90s, they ended up rechanging his name, of course, for various reasons. They changed from Quicksilver to Max Mercury, and he ended up being basically tutor or the mentor for Impulse from the Flash. So since he was a speedster, they call him a Zen master of speed. You can actually find his earliest adventures in National Comics, and this is one of the issues here. So
that is
if
so
anybody is
cool.
familiar with Wally West, the Flash, and his run of the Flash right around issue the 90s and the 100s, when Impulse showed up, then his mentor Max Mercury used to be DC's Quicksilver, and they have the same costume. So even if I open this up and show this to y'all, he's still wearing the same costume as you would see him when they brought him back in the 90s to mentor Bart Allen, Impulse.
That is so cool. And MV Geek says, "Oh my god, you have a national comic pre-DC." Absolutely.
Right. Pre comic book approval code and all that. Yeah, that's how we do it.
That is crazy. 24/7. Thank you so much for today.
Oh, you're
before
welcome.
before we wrap up, what have you got coming up? And before you answer, would you be willing to come back in the new year? Because I'd love to do a part 2 of this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you got me. Just let me know when you want me, and I'll be there. So, or
Awesome.
we'll work it out. So, today is Wednesday. Okay, Friday, I'll be doing my FNT pre-show. It's called the pre-show show, and that's where I might or might not show off comics, talk a lot of shit, speak my mind, do my thing. So I'll be you guys will see me there for that. Probably like in the next hour or so, I'll be dropping videos. So you'll be seeing videos today, tomorrow, Friday.
Yeah, you're doing incredibly well, aren't you?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the channel is blowing up at the moment. And good morning to Echo Base. Good to see you, Coach.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, how's it going, man? Miss you, brother. Oh man. Yeah, I'll be dropping videos. You'll see me on Friday during my pre-show. Start about between 2:30 and 3. And then on Sunday, me, Fat Steven Seagal, Vigilante Williamson, and my boy Baron Orman Tag, we do the Primetime Kings at 5:00 p.m. Central Time.
Yes, I was there last week. That was a great show you guys had.
Oh, thank you. It was great having you. I appreciate you showing up and showing your support. Thank you. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Just before we go, Zachrat has got a question. He says, 24/7, do you have any Minutemen comics?
Actually, no, I don't. And I know what he means by the Minutemen. That's I've seen them around, and a lot of these Golden Age comics, like the Silver Age, like when I've seen them around, those comics, I've seen them for, like I said, I've seen them for $2-3 a piece. That's how I was able to grab so many and show some of them, so many of them off with unboxings on my channel. But when it comes to the Golden Age comics, people know what they have, and even online, you're gonna be paying a lot of fucking money for Golden Age comics. So the Minutemen, they're Golden Age. The reason why I even have these, because I've said it before. I had an uncle that he saw how real strict that I was in collecting comics, not fucking them up, keeping them in great condition, make sure everything was bag and board. And he was like, shit, ain't no telling what's going to happen, with these. So he basically handed off, his comic book collection to me. And I've been keeping them in great condition ever since. And I guess he figured that if anything's going to happen, that his comic books will still,
they'll be looked after.
Right. Yeah, so, and I'll be taking care of them instead of trashing them. And I was actually treating comic books better than what he was treating them. So he was like, oh shit, here, but I was thankful. And that's how I was able to pop off with a lot of these Golden Age comics. I couldn't afford none of these comics. It's, but I'm thankful to have them, and I'm thankful to show them off. And I have plenty more. So whenever you're ready for a part 2, I got plenty more to show you. So
absolutely, yeah, that would be amazing. And I think the chat are up for it as well. Everyone's saying thank you for being here, and I vote for more 24/7 appearances. Done. We will sort it out, and we will
have
24/7 back. as this has been a lot of fun. I love to kind of really talk about comics because it's a subject I don't get to talk about that often, and to have someone as knowledgeable as 24/7 to bounce off, I absolutely, it's a real treat. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And if you guys haven't subscribed, Project Stories Time says doesn't have every comic book ever made unsubscribed. Oh, yeah, but if if you guys should subscribe, I really could use your support. It
Yes,
doesn't cost
please.
anything. I'm always dropping videos. I only live stream 2 times a week on my channel. But if somebody that's would want to have me on, I'm always open to showing up, and I'm just excited that I'm here with Perp, and I mean, this is awesome.
It's been too long, hasn't it? And a big thank you to Mark and Chris
been.
for putting the links out. Yes, guys, if you're not subscribed, please do. The fantastic mods have been putting the links out, and the links are in the description as well. Mark says, "Say it 24/7. You gotta say your line."
Let's blow that shit up.
There we go.
There we go.
Love it. Oh my gosh, guys, this has been a fantastic show. I love getting to talk with 24/7. It's always a treat to have him on. We will have him back in the new year, so I am looking forward to that. I will be back later on this evening. We have got the Lady Arwen, we've got Pink and Purple, so that will be the 3rd show today. Really looking forward to that. And then I will be back on Friday, as usual, at 10 a.m. So, guys, please check out 24/7 Fusion Media. You will not regret it, I promise.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you. Let me say a massive thank you to everybody who joined us today. You guys were on fire in the chat as always. We had some fantastic comments. It's always great to see everybody. And a big thank you to everybody who sent super chats. You guys are amazing as always. So, guys, I will say a thank you again to my awesome guest for joining me. Loved it.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here. It was my honor. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you. And guys, we will be back later on this afternoon. So until then, take care. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. And 24/7 just once more to lead us out.
Oh, let's blow this shit up. So.
There we go. Take care, everyone.